Quick reaction to the Pro Bowl reveal. Just had to come across. I was not watching it live on NFL Network, but NFL Network tweeted it all out, and I was just going through it today. The world was primed for the 49ers to get a bunch of Pro Bowlers because the fan vote came out, had the Niners leading, and half the league, half of the Pro Bowl team was 49ers. So here's the list: Purdy, McCaffrey, Juszczyk, Kittle, Trent Williams, Hargrave, Bosa, Warner, and Mooney Ward. 9 of them. The Niner record is 10. The NFL record is 12. The 72 Dolphins and the 2019 Ravens each had 12. There was some thought today that maybe the Niners would break or tie that record, depending on specialists. But there's the list. So we can go through the positions at quarterback. We'll start with the most incredible. It's not incredible now. It's just incredible in the grand scheme of things. Not a quarterback replacement. This is a voted Pro Bowl NFC quarterback. The vote is a third of the fan vote, player vote, coach vote. So Purdy had the lead in the NFC quarterbacks among the fan vote, but he obviously got votes, plenty of votes from the coaches and the players. How could you not? Other Niners who maybe led in the fan vote did not become Pro Bowlers. So there's your starter. There's your Pro Bowl starter. Pretty incredible. Purdy, number one. Then Dak Prescott is his backup. And the third string quarterback, so to speak, is Stafford. In the AFC, Tua, Lamar, and Patrick Mahomes. So there's your quarterbacks. We can talk more about those guys in a second. Wide receivers, I put the wide receivers on the list, not because there was a Niner, but because there wasn't, right? This is one of the best wide receiver combos in the league. And I actually talked to Brandon Ayuk today about blocking, about wide receiver blocking, which he was very excited to talk about. But he didn't make this list, even though he was up there in the fan voting. So it's a good list, right? This is a list that I said the other night. I think that Rome Odunze, the Washington Huskies receiver, is going to be a Pro Bowler within a couple of years in the NFL. And it's going to be tough depending on where he goes, because there's a good group: Chase and Cooper, and no Justin Jefferson on this list, which is obviously significant. Puka Nacua stepped in, which is a stunner, right? If you went before the year and made your Pro Bowl list. Tackles, no surprise here. Trent Williams. Yeah, that's enough. Christian McCaffrey, no shocker. Juice, no shocker. Congrats, Kyle. Kittle on the tight ends. Couple of Iowa guys, Laporta, and this is an Iowa grad, and then Laporta, an Iowa product, and a tight end U grad. Interior lineman, Javon Hargrave. No Eric Armstead, Aaron Donald, and Dexter Lawrence, Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, Matabuki. It's that's the interior lineman, a hell of a group. The defensive ends, Bosa, the Bears, Montez Sweat, right? Chase Young's teammate, Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby. Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner, linebackers, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith. That's pretty awesome. I mentioned this. I did a stream from Levi Stadium earlier today with Larry Krueger. Daniel Jeremiah had a tweet about the similarities between the Niners and the Ravens, how they have great off-ball linebackers. And to have a combo like that is pretty special. I mean, the Niners, Dre Greenlaw is a Pro Bowl level player, Pro Bowl starter. It's you'd be hard pressed to predict that it's going to happen, but I don't know. Was Bobby Wagner better than Dre Greenlaw? That one kind of surprised me. Deron Bland, Mooney Ward, Jalen Johnson, Devin Witherspoon, and that's the list. So I think the question becomes: firstly, snub, right? You always go to snub, and Ayuk The thing about Ayuk, where does he rank right now in yards? His yards to catches ratio is going to be very high, right? He catches less passes, but for a ton of yards. 49ers historically, 2013 they had 10 Pro Bowlers. 2012 they had 9 Pro Bowlers. 95 they had 10 Pro Bowlers. Did not go to the Super Bowl. Lost in the divisional round that year. 94 they went to and won the Super Bowl. Had 10 Pro Bowlers. And 84 went to and won the Super Bowl. Had 10 Pro Bowlers. I think what's interesting about the two Harbaugh teams, the 13 and 12 teams, is that they had 10 Pro Bowlers one year, 9 Pro Bowlers the other year, without a quarterback making the Pro Bowl, which is pretty stunning. That is so abnormal. And neither one of those teams won the championship, so maybe that, I don't know, maybe that says something. But yeah, I think it's hard to call. Ayuk is clearly a Pro Bowl level player. Hard to call him a snub when he's not in the top, I don't know, whatever this is, 25 in receptions. But then you flip it around and you go, all right, well, let's look at the catches. And he's the yards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in yards. And he's got 7 touchdowns and he's a blocker. You legitimately could have made him a Pro Bowler. So legit could have been a Pro Bowler. I'm not going to call it a snub. Because I think the beauty of and he's an alternate and he'll probably qualify. Ideally, nobody plays in this flag football game or whatever they do now because you're busy because it's the week before the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to say I can't get over this because whatever, like I believe it. We're watching it with our eyes. Brock Purdy's a hell of a player, but he's not just the fan vote. He's the legit MVP of the NFC. Like, to me, that's what this is. If you're the NFC starting quarterback, you are the MVP of the NFC. And Brock Purdy is the MVP of the NFC. Now, it was interesting today to hear Kyle Shanahan say that he thought Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback he's studied on tape. And I hadn't done it, but I had been thinking about like a where does Brock Purdy rank kind of quarterback list thing, and whether or not he would be ahead of Stafford, because it's clear that Stafford can still. I'm not gonna say he can carry an offense to the degree that a quarterback can win and carry an offense, like without a run game, without good receivers, without a solid defense, without a good coach. You're just the Chargers, right? It's hard for any quarterback to really carry that much. But without him, they're not in the position they're in. And the position they're in right now is they could definitely win a first-round game. I think the Rams could beat Dallas or Detroit. So Stafford's legit. And Dak put together an excellent year. I mean, he was an MVP candidate till the end. Well, not till the end, definitely till the Buffalo game, almost to the end. Brock was an MVP candidate longer than Dak was, but they were both, MVP candidates deep into the season. The NFC MVP, if there was such a thing, came down to those two guys, or would have come down to those two guys. And I think in the end, Brock would have won it. We still have, a postseason. And, the funny thing about this vote is it happens before the most important games have been played, which it's not the weirdest thing ever, right? You think about the NBA does you're an all-star for the rest of your life. You get contract bonuses based on being a midseason all-star in baseball and basketball. I know I was talking to a few people about like voting, and I guess the NFL MVP, Super Bowl MVP award, they didn't used to wait till after the game. If you go to these games, like I've been to the Final Four, the national championship game for college football, for the national championship game for college basketball. When you attend these games and they vote on the MVP, historically at least, you don't wait till the end of the game to vote because they've always had it. They like collect the votes, the paper votes, and then they have to have time to tabulate it so that by the ceremony, you have the votes already counted. They don't do it digital. It's crazy. But um, whatever. So the postseason is irrelevant as it relates to this, as we know. There's two ways to acquire players, right? You can get them in free agency or draft or trade. So three. But player acquisition those are the three. So here's Trent Williams, trade, plug and play, nailed it. Christian McCaffrey, trade, plug and play, nailed it. Juice, free agent signing, plug and play, nailed it. Kittle, draft pick, nailed it. Hargrave, free agent signing, plug and play, nailed it. Nick Bosa, draft, one of the easier ones, nailed it. Fred Warner, draft, nailed it. Mooney Ward, free agent, nailed it. And obviously, you nailed it, but I don't even know how much credit you get for nailing it. He nailed it. He became this. But part of what's interesting to me is just the number of, obviously homegrown is always best, but you gotta homegrown's hard because the draft is hard. So when you get the chance to spend big money in free agency, or when you have to do it via trade, you are using so many assets. It's one thing to miss on. Obviously, Kittle is all gravy. Fred Warner, they're gravy because these are later round picks. But the fact is, when you miss on a pick in Fred Warner's spot, or you miss on a pick in Kittle's spot, nobody notices. When you miss on, well, let's make this guy the highest paid left tackle in the league. When you miss on, we'll trade multiple picks for a running back, it can really devastate you. I mean, that's why this Purdy pick is so crazy, because they made a trade that could have devastated them for Trey Lance. But when they've put their money up for an established pro, they do have a really good feel. Their drafting skills are, they're what most people's drafting skills are. But when they step up for a free agent or for a trade, they nail it. And think about like the number of these guys that are relationship based: Trent Williams, Kyle Newham, McCaffrey, Kyle Newham, Juszczyk. Kyle had a good feel for him. Didn't know him, but I think knew he would fit. Hargrave didn't know him. Bosa, who's my other free agent? Mooney Ward didn't really know him. So it's like some of these guys they had personal relationships with, but Mooney Ward, you're going to go commit to him. Trent, they nailed these the non-drafted additions, and that's home runs. So 9 Pro Bowlers, Pro Bowl starter. Only God gets credit for Purdy. Billy says Purdy's sitting out the last game, just how he sits out the fourth quarters in game, blowing out the other team. Yeah, so Brock is going to be the emergency quarterback for them this week. Darnold's going to start. I've been waiting for that. Rick says, I think the MVP should have been the end of January. We'll find out who the MVP. I think the MVP should have been the end of January. We'll find out who's going to be the MVP. But the medium, which is ESPN NFL Network, these jerks got ahead. They don't like us. They're going to deny. I don't think so. I think they love the Niners on ESPN and NFL Network. I know because I watch their content and they do it nonstop. The Niners are great for business. Talking good or bad, you can say great things about Brock Purdy and people will watch. You can say bad things about Brock Purdy. I'm sure people will watch that too. But either way, Niners are good for business. So what really changes if you wait till the end of January? Because all the guys that are MVP candidates largely are going to be playoff guys, right? I think if you wait too long, the MVP will always just be some quarterback in a conference championship game. But maybe that is the MVP. It's a regular season award. I have no problem with it occurring in the regular season. Only somebody said Juszczyk set a fullback record for the number of Pro Bowls. Is that true? I wish I should know that. Brock, it's Kyle's 8th of that list. Only Trent Williams has more Pro Bowls. It's Mooney Ward's first. So how about that? Mooney Ward, you acquire him from the Chiefs, or you sign him as a free agent, and you project him obviously to be a Pro Bowl level player when you sign him. And he was. I'm not going to say you made him into a Pro Bowler, but he became a Pro Bowler on the 49ers. To me, like, whether you win a championship or not, you put together a couple years like that, and then whatever Mooney Ward's career becomes, it becomes. But, he will be a 49er when it's all said and done. When you become a Pro Bowler with a team, like, that's where you win your Pro Bowls, then that's kind of who you are. That's where your legacy is. Guy, what's the deal with alternates? Do they count as Pro Bowlers? I think my understanding is if they eventually get elevated to the Pro Bowl roster, then they count as, yes, you count as Pro Bowlers. So these are your legit Pro Bowlers. Then you've got Pro Bowl alternates. And then let's say the Niners are in the Super Bowl, and I don't know who the next, somebody can tell me who the next alternate is at quarterback. That guy becomes a Pro Bowler. I could look up Pro Bowl alternates here, but who cares? That's not what this is about. It's a good question, though. But you're not a pro. Like, so Ayuk can become a Pro Bowler. Ayuk's an alternate. Armstead's an alternate. Banks is an alternate. Jake Brendel's an alternate. Greenlaw's an alternate. Diameter Lenore's an alternate. A couple more. DK Metcalf's an alternate. I'm just scrolling through. I'm seeing all these teams now. Some teams are putting out graphics for their alternates, like the Texans put out. The Texans, I was like, damn, the Texans got 6 Pro Bowlers? It's like, no, it's just their alternates. They put together a graphic for the alternates, which, you know what? For them, pretty good. That's still pretty good. Hold on. Brock still looks like a 3-star high school recruit. 1,200 horsepower Miata. Where is the... Somebody just had something here. Puka over Ayuk. Disrespectful. Puka had a dynamic year. I'm not surprised. Question, isn't it kind of like second team All-Pro, like good but not quite good enough? Second team All-Pro is still pretty special. To be an All-Pro is more rare, greater honor, I would say. To bring a Pro Bowler, not I would say, just is. There's less of them. So not like that. But I don't know. Is there a list somewhere of the overall alternates? I'm sure the NFL has it on their website. I wonder who the alternate QBs are. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to look for that now. Who cares? NFL.com has a list of its biggest snubs. Let's see who's number 1 on the snubs list. So it looks like Ayuk is number 3 on the snubs list. Ayuk leads all players with 18 yards per catch this season. Catch percentage is 71%. His 71.3 receiving EPA is 3rd in the league behind only CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, whose house was on fire today. Number 2 snub was L'Jarius Sneed. Number 1 was Antoine Winfield. Number 4 was Josh Allen. Yeah, I honestly did not look at the fan voting today. I did not expect to look up and see Bobby Wagner on the Pro Bowl team start as a Pro Bowl starter. That shocked me. I hadn't thought about who I did expect to see. I will say, I don't think I expected to see Greenlaw either. But so, I don't know. But Bobby Wagner, I did not expect to see. Bobby was good again. Bobby was good against the run this year. All right. Well, that's pretty good. 9's pretty good. Who's won what? Oh, I told you. Antoine Winfield. That's the NFL.com list. Rich for $2. He wants a Raider guy to answer the question, what should our Raiders do at head coach and QB? Well, there's a lot of buzz that the Raiders should keep Antonio Pierce. It would be an easy decision. The decision they didn't make the last time they had a coach kind of fall in their lap. I would hire Jim Harbaugh if I were the Las Vegas Raiders. That'd be an easy one. Or Kalen DeBoer. The Chargers can then hire Kalen DeBoer, actually. I would hire Harbaugh. And quarterback, draft a quarterback. That's what I would do. Their quarterback of their future is not on the roster. Now Harbaugh could function with who's going to be Darnold. Could you do that? Harbaugh could function with somebody, but I'd go Jim. And then if Jim doesn't want the job or wants the Charger job or stays put where he is now, I'd probably give it to Antonio Pierce. That's fine. But Apex Shaver, nice that Brock. You're not writing this on a keyboard, right? Nice that Brock. See, look at me. I can read. Nice that Brock got into the pro. I'm like a code breaker in the war. Nice that Brock got in the Pro Bowl as a starter, but it's relevant because Dak's going to start because Brock's going to be a little busy. Yeah, I do think that's true. I do think the 49ers are going to be in the Super Bowl. And he won't be in the Pro Bowl. But again, it's not. It's a flag. It's a flag football game at like Disney World or something. Voice text, maybe. All right. That's that. Got to go make dinner. What am I making tonight? You might ask yourself. Tonight, I am making Guys Famous meatloaf. And I'm a big fan of calling it Guys Famous before I've ever made it once. Guys Famous coffee cake got made for the first time for Christmas. Guys Famous meatloaf is getting made tonight. And it's time to go fire that sucker up. So with that, thanks for hanging. Appreciate you being here. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Help it grow. You become a sponsor when you do that. Not like Tito's. Tito's Handmade Vodka is also a sponsor. Alien D Gin is a sponsor. Cool video with you and Larry today. 5 spot. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Larry Kruger and I we were out at Levi Stadium today, and I said, Larry, let's fire it up. And Larry said, all right, it's on his channel. It's on this channel. So appreciate Larry doing that. And hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for that very much. It helps out a ton, more than you know. And I'll talk to you soon, everybody. Later.